Hi, my name's Kirk Norbury. I'm a nature photographer based in Scotland, and I thought I'd go through a bit of my gear. If you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, you probably would have known that I'm out. By next week I'll be heading out to Iceland. I'll be a guest tutor for Wild Photography Holidays, which is an amazing experience for me. Definitely something new for me to do, and it's my first time to travel abroad. So I thought I'd break down what I'm taking with me to show which gear I'll be taking and why I'll be taking it. So I'll start off with the cameras. I'll be taking as my main body a D800. I've only just got this. I got it about 2-3 weeks ago, and I absolutely love it. You know, I thought with Iceland being a haven for landscape photographers, I thought I'd best up my game and get something with really high quality. You know, I can really make the most of those 36 megapixels and also the video capabilities. So that's why I got that, and already I love it to pieces. Now for a backup camera, I'm taking my D3. You know, I still use this quite a lot. I especially use it for time-lapse, as the D800 has massive files and the D3 doesn't, so I can make use, I can get at least quite a lot of time-lapse footage out of this camera, and I can just shoot stills and video with this one. So this moves on to my lenses. A new toy, my baby. This is the 14-24 2.8. Absolutely incredible lens. Amazing distortion control at wide angles. So this will be, in the UK, this would be a great landscape lens for me, as well as amazing lens for my starscape work. But in Iceland I'll be using this a lot. I'll be using the Lucroit filter holder with this, which I'll show in a minute. So yeah, I'll be using this primarily because, you know, it's an incredible landscape lens. Next one I'll be taking is a 70-300. This is my sort of, if I want to go in for close-up, more abstract shots, and I want to get to more really focus on one little area of the landscape, I'll be using this. But I'll be also, while we're there, we'll be photographing puffins and other birds like great skuas and arctic terns, so I'll be using this a lot with the D800 and D3. Especially with the D3 if something's really fast and I need those 9 frames a second. So that's that one there. And then this is my sort of play around lens. This is a sort of, covers all the bases. You know, it's a cheap lens, and I've always heard bad reviews about it, especially from people like Ken Rockwell and other photographers. They always say 24-120. This is the older version, not the new f4 version. I haven't had any problems with it. I've had this lens a year, and if you go onto my website, all my landscape work prior to the last year, it's been taken with this lens, and you know, you get a good focal length out of it. You know, it's not the fastest lens in the world, but for landscape work you don't need a fast lens, you just need something that's sharp and has good detail in it. So, you know, this will be going with me as well. I'll probably be using this with the D3 for time-lapse work, while I'll be using 14-24 and the D800 together. So that leads on to my filters. Now this is a really interesting sort of setup I've got now. Not many people have heard of this or seen it. I'll be going to be reviewing it in more detail later on, probably once I get back, so I can, you know, test how well it works. But this is the Lucroit filter holder. Now this is it. This is the filter holder here. It's quite big. It's just made out of plastic. But this fits with the big Hitech filters, and these are the two adapters. This is an adapter for a 77mm filter thread lens, so I can use this on both of these lenses when I have a adapter ring, so I can just change this around. But this is the one for 14-24, so that means it has these little grooves on the side with a rubber ring going inside just to secure it in, and you just push it over the lens, and then I can fit this onto it and slide in the filters. Now the filters are huge. Now the biggest filters I've ever seen. I can't remember the size. I think they're 165mm on the longest side. So that's them. These are the Hitech filters. I'm taking quite a few with me. I've got, just go through them quickly. I've got two 0.9 hard edge and soft edge, 0.3 soft edge and hard edge, and then I've also got the big stop at the 10 stop, and I've also got a 6 stop. Now that'd be great for waterfalls and really long exposures during the day. So I can turn something that takes a quarter of a second and it can take about 5 minutes. So really creative filters to use. I've used them a little bit already. You might have seen a few of my shots taken down at the pier just down the road. I haven't noticed any colour cast in them yet. The only time I've noticed a little bit is when I'm using the 10 stop plus a neutral density, the graduated version. But really it wasn't too bad, and I was able to pull back. It left a little bit of a magenta into the sky, and in Lightroom I was able to pull that back, which was great. So yeah, let's see what else we've got. This is my little goodie bag. It's basically, this is the bag that came with the 24-120, and it's basically full of adapter rings, coking, yeah, I love making a mess here. I tell you, they're actually everywhere, these things. I've got at least 10 of these adapter rings lying around in my office. So, they're adapter rings. I've got the Stealth Gear Coken P style, and I've also got a cheap one imported from China. You know, they cost nothing. They're just made out of cheap plastic. I've also got some Zeiss lens cloths. Probably the best lens cloths I've ever used. I've got an email. So that's them. Other little accessories I'll be taking with me is I've got my cheap remote release. I usually use this for start rails and sometimes use it for time lapse, but it's a good thing for long exposures. Really good for long exposures. If I have my iPhone, I can use the phone for timing it, and I just use this to get those really long 10-minute exposures. CF cards and SD. This is just my case. There's a few in here, but I've got more scattered around everywhere at the moment. I've also got spare batteries for the D3 and the D800. This little thing here is a godsend. Now I recommend every photographer, especially landscape photographers, to go on eBay or go somewhere and get one of these spirit levels. The amount of times when you don't use this and you're having to crop into shots because your horizon isn't straight and you've got a wonky cockeyed horizon. So I really recommend at least having 2 of these and have them on either both cameras or have one in your pocket, because they can go missing. But yeah, these are bloody good things. I love having them because it makes my life easy. I don't have to mess. Now all these cameras have virtual horizons and you can check if it's straight, but you have to go into the side of inside the camera or live view and messing around. If you've got it on the top of your camera, if you haven't got, some people have GPS on the tops or flash guns or whatever, but if you haven't got that, get one of them on it, and they're brilliant to have on. Other filters, I'm taking a lot of filters with me. As most photographers know, well, you can do it all in Lightroom now, but I like doing it in camera. I'd rather have the shot there, looking on the back of the LCD and go, wow, I like that already. So these are Stealth Gear, one of my sponsors. These are just, I've got circular polarizers and a few gradual NDs and just normal NDs. And they're mainly to use with these 2 lenses when I'm because sometimes I can actually put that onto those 2, but I will use these as they're just as good. This is quite an interesting filter. You may have seen my review about a month or so ago. This is the Lightcraft Workshop Variable ND. Now this is brilliant for video, as moving this around changes the hardness and how much light can come through. I think it goes from about ND2 to ND8. Remember, but it's something around there anyway. So they're really good for waterfalls and when I'm filming and I want to get down to that sort of 50th, 60th of a second shutter speed. that's pretty much it. When it comes to gear, I'll be taking it, oh actually, now these are very important things, I should never forget about them. I'll be taking my MacBook Pro, I'll be importing my images into Lightroom into the MacBook, and then they'll be backed up onto these. And they'll be backed up not just images, but the catalogue, all the metadata, so, you know, because I'll be editing while I'm away and something does happen, you know, the computer blows up, I'll still have my metadata saved and all my keywords and everything already backed up onto here. So they're a must. I'll be taking all this in, if you just give me a second. This is my new bag. It's the Coordinate Gear bag system. Basically, it's a new sponsor I've just had, and they make some incredible bags where they work, where you can interchange them and change how you want. Now I'll be reviewing this in more detail when I get back, but just to put this down into simple terms, this is built up of 3 bags. Now this is the editor on the front, which most people you can use for just walking around really. You can carry the straps on here and have it across your shoulder, which this comes off, it just attaches on the sides. And then you've got the Pioneer and the Ranger, which are 2 bags. One is the camera bag and the other one is an open bag which you can put other stuff into. So if I open this in the other flap, this is my gear, so I can get all this in here, plus more, plus my chargers, plus a couple hard drives. I actually split my hard drives up, one into here and one into the suitcase. But this actually comes out, so you can take this out. If the airline restrictions were very strict on weight and size, you could just take this and use this, put this into your suitcase, but with Iceland I, I'm allowed to take all this plus all this gear, so I'm quite lucky with that. Yeah, so let's just put this back together. So this is my new sponsor, like I said. One great thing with them is if you go onto my website, and I'll put a link onto my bottom of this video, if you want to purchase one of these bags, you can receive a 10% discount from the company on your order. So if you use the promotion code KN10, you'll receive a 10% discount, which is brilliant. If you have any issues with it or problems or want to query about it, just send me an email or message me on Twitter or Facebook and I'll be able to answer your questions. Let's put that back down there. I'm also taking the Gorilla Pod, the little bendable tripod little thingy. That'll be just used for D3 for some of it if I'm using this, or I'm using one of the cameras and I want to do a time lapse as well when I need to use both tripods. I do have 2 tripods at home, but I really don't want to take 2 with me because they take up a lot of space. But the main tripod I'll be taking with me is this. This is my favourite tripod I've ever had. This is the Gitzo GT3541 LS. Yeah. This is the carbon fibre, takes a hell of a beating tripod. It's already got scratches on it, but this one really does take a beating. On top I'll be using my Vanguard SPH 100 Ballhead. I've had this for about 3 years now and I've had no issues with it. I'd love to have an Arca Swiss where I can have an L plate onto the camera bodies, but I think you can change the top plate, but that's something to do at a later point. It's not something I really need right now. So let's put that down. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, you know, keep up with my blog and my Twitter, where I'll keep you updated with what's going on and the images I'm taking, but really I'll be probably keeping most of my images to myself until I get back, and then I can really fine-tune my editing and I can see what I'm going to be doing with them, where I can probably upload them as a portfolio and you can see all the best ones in one go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video and little taster, and I hope you keep updated my trip to Iceland. Thanks for watching.